Hey my friends, this is the art of prepping. I've been just processing some wood and stuff, and broke out the old Ontario Blackbird SK-5, the Noir, the all black, and made in the USA. It's kind of my love-hate relationship knife. It's just love how it feels, and I kind of like the profile and the overall, just generally overall how it all presents itself. But it just came, when it came to me, it was very dull. The secondary bevel was really crappy. It still is. After hours of working on it with just a ceramic sharpener, I could only barely enhance it. And so I'm going to have to really probably put it on maybe a sanding belt, which I hate to do, but that's the only way I think I'm going to have to do it. This is not a problem that's just limited to me. A lot of people report this, and it just gets real old real quick. You spend over $100 for a knife and you expect something of decent quality. And yes, the steel is superb. 154 cm for this is probably the perfect steel for stainless steel if you live in a humid environment like I do. But it's one of those things that it gets really old when you can't even sharpen the darn thing. You know, it's very difficult to sharpen. Now, whatever that the Rockwell hardness is, it's off the chart. It must be, because it is like almost impossible to sharpen this thing. And a lot of forums have hundreds and hundreds of people have said the same thing. I would never buy this again. I would recommend it maybe if they fix this problem. But as you can see, the coating is a joke. You know, after just like 2 outings, I mean, the coating just flakes off, literally. In fact, most of this is just of wear from just sharpening it. All this bottom part is just from sharpening it. This is just from batoning it right here. Today alone, I just did some batoning. I cut through this pretty fast. It was pretty decent. It doesn't really have like a tremendous bite in the wood. I mean, it does okay though, but it's such a light knife, and it's, you know, a 5-inch blade. You only have so much power behind this. When you have a full grip and you're chopping, as I did some chopping today as well, and I tried to film all this, and I did get about half of it filmed. I tell you what though, it was horrible film quality though. Not so much the resolution, but the angles and stuff. So I'm sorry, but until I can figure out, maybe get a tripod or get a real camera, I can't really show some of this because it's too dangerous to do it one-handed. And it's also too, it's just too awkward to do this stuff. You know, when you're chopping on a stump or on the ground or whatever, it's very awkward for to use a camera or even like this phone to do all that. So so that's that. But I was able to do some chopping with a full grip though. There's almost no power at all. You can just get very minimum amount. I mean, it cuts, but you know, it is what it is. When you choke back and you try to get more power out of it, you feel a little bit, especially because I wear gloves and safety glasses, which if there's children watching, young people, always get permission from your parents before you do any of this, and always be safe. There's no reason to actually hurt yourself by accident. You'll regret it. So always wear at least a minimum of you know, decent quality thick pants, gloves, eyewear, and more if you want. But when I choke back though, it's so lightweight. There's just really almost no added power to the chopping. So this as a chopper is a no-go. For processing wood in terms of using it, you know, I was just kind of using the back of here, which is not the best probably baton for this, but just use the harder wood that I found on the ground around this area. It was actually okay. I had to come at it from different angles and rotate the wood a few times to actually get this cut. As you can see, it came from different angles. But overall though, you can see this is part of my chopping, and it was just so minimum. It was a lot of effort to get, of course this is harder wood, but man, it would take forever to chop through even this piece of wood, which is approximately maybe 2.5 to almost 3, something in that range. But you know, it's well, this is a 5-inch blade, so yeah, it's probably about 2.5 inches. But it's like daggone, you know, you kind of don't have a lot of chopping capabilities, and this is supposed to be a survival knife. So maybe in a lot of other applications it does a lot better, and actually it does. It cuts cording pretty well. You can actually just you know, push cut paracord, and it actually cuts it really well. And you know, I mean, believe it or not, if feather stick's pretty decent, you know. I mean, here's some harder wood here, and I mean, I didn't go very long because of my cuts here, but believe it, I mean, there's actually quite a bit of feathering in there. But I mean, surprisingly, it does that. But paper cuts and stuff, man, it just raggedly cuts and rips the paper. And I'm not saying that paper cutting and paper test cutting is the best way to know if your blade is sharp or not. No, I mean, but right now I can already feel like it still kind of has an edge to it after doing this for like a half an hour. But it's not like really that sharp, you know. It's just like almost all of my other knives, especially knives that are even close to $100, are razor sharp, and actually take almost no effort to go on the Spyderco Sharp Maker. And I mean, you know, a couple minutes and boom, I mean, freaking scary sharp. And this is just like, I think that the Rockwell hardness is probably 60 to 62, man, because I tell you what, man, this thing is just so freaking difficult to deal with, to sharpen, you know. So anyways, I can't recommend this Ontario one. I'm really kind of I was going to even get a Rat 3, but I just said, well, even though it's a totally different metal in the 1095, I was like, man, I don't know. You hear about all the better improvements with the SE3, and so I was looking at that, and I'm like, daggone, man, you know, between $90 and $120, depending on what model do I want to do that? And it's like, I don't even want to spend that, you know. And so I've just said poo-poo the whole thing. I have enough blades. I just was kind of looking for maybe a smaller knife, you know, just for a little bit more of a belt carry system, or maybe a pack, you know, very small waist pack system. Anyways, this is off the subject, but so basically, you know, just checking this out, you know, and I haven't really done an actual like field review, and I was trying to do it, but because I don't have any kind of film editing software with this Android phone, unlike an iPhone, you can do more editing. With this, the YouTube doesn't support Android to my knowledge. At least all the notifications that I have and all the things I looked up, there isn't really any compatibility. I can't splice in images and stuff or videos, so that's why I'm so limited. It's not because I'm trying to make my videos real simple. It's just, honestly, I just don't have the options on my phone. There's just no software for it. So that's all I can do. But in the meantime, thanks again for watching, and I'll give you more updates in the future when I use this knife. But I mean, it does work for some things, as you can see. I mean, it has survival applications, but for a wood processing bushcraft knife, I say absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's just, I don't know. You know, maybe if the blade was just sharper and it was easy to sharpen, and maybe it would all be a totally different story. But in the meantime, I'm just going to have to say, just be careful with this one. I know there's a lot of people that back this knife, and I'm definitely not knocking them, because they might have actually gotten a better, you know, a better bevel on their blade, and it could have been sharpened better. Because I do hear stories, a lot of people saying, man, it was just so razor sharp, and everything is, you know, the bevel was just perfect, and it was. But I think my bevel just seems to be so shallow, that secondary bevel on this flat ground blade. So I don't know. You tell me. So. You know, Ontario, if you're listening, man, hey, man, I'm real tempted to send this thing back, man, you know, and just say, hey, can you just fix this? Or am I happy, or it's defective? It is effective. I'm sure you don't like people like me talking about this. So, and I'm not trying to do, I mean, I have a whole bunch of Ontario knives, so by far do I have no reason to knock you. But this is pretty crappy, dude. You know, I mean, your coating is just like, it's like sprayed on Teflon that peels off, and then you got, and this is a genuine one, you know, I mean, I got it from a very reputable dealer, you know. Yeah, you can see right here, I mean, it came in the real box, real paperwork, I mean, and the steel does hold up. I mean, I don't think it would have held up with the batoning and stuff I did. It's just the bevel issue to my knowledge, and the coating. Sometimes the coating looks kind of cool like that coming off, but personally, though, I mean, if it's there for a reason to protect the blade and stuff, it should stay on, you know. Good God. You know, you don't hear that kind of problem with SE blades. They have a much better, of course, you know, for the money, I should have just probably bought that. So that's what I would recommend. Just get yourself a decent SE knife instead of this, you know, until I can know for sure that they fixed the problem, because I can't recommend stuff like this. This is crazy. As always, thanks a lot for tuning in, and be safe.